Oh my goodness. I can't believe I have to say this right now. Belal Muhammad, am I alive right now? Belal Muhammad, 170 champion, a UFC champion. I can't believe it, man. I really can't believe it. I first things first, I know I'm not player one. I know I'm not the main character, whatever these people say. I know my opinions and things that I say, all these things have absolutely zero impact on the fight outcome. But I couldn't help but think about this 2 months ago, whatever, how many months ago when this fight's announced, where the amount of people, I always hype up fighters. I always love fighters. But the two fighters I've ever talked bad about are Anthony Smith and Belal Muhammad. And as soon as Belal Muhammad got this title fight, I'm sitting there like, man, I've called this guy the most boring fighter in the world. I've said I hated the guy, his fighting style. I see MMA community absolutely tear this guy up from left to right. Even all week, just the weird things he was saying, just everything that he does, man. Most people just don't like it. And yet here he is. He's the champion. I knew it. There's something weird was just telling me, more, it's not even karma to me. I think it's just more so karma to the MMA community. Like, hey, just because these guys aren't as cool on the mic, just because they're not as flashy in the octagon, I mean, these guys are still going to be champion one day, regardless if you like it or not. And I just can't help but just sit here and just be flabbergasted right now. What this man, Belal Muhammad, just did to Leon Edwards, that's exactly what I expected out of Usman in both fights. It's exactly what I expected out of Colby Covington last fight. We've seen Leon quit before. We've seen him, get that look in his eye. The same look that he got, even with the whole, the thing that made him the headshot dead king, all these stuff. Going into that fifth round, he was absolutely demoralized. And we saw the same thing tonight. And I just can't believe it's the guy, Belal Muhammad, that does it to him, man. And before I start picking apart Belal and start saying all these excuses for Leon or whatever Leon's excuses were, the one thing I must say, man, for Belal Muhammad and especially Leon to know Belal's game plan is to put the pressure on you, get your back up against the fence, and then I'm taking you down. That jab all night must have been pretty heavy because it didn't look pretty. It didn't look technical. It doesn't look good at all. But, I mean, Belal just puts that little paw on you, and it must be heavy because it had Leon he had double shelved up, waiting for the uppercut, waiting for the overhand, with his back up against the fence, knowing that this man's going to take him down. And it happened time after time after time after time. And I just can't believe it. I literally am sitting here just absolutely mind blown. In a night where Tom Aspinall steals the night, in a night where Paddy Pimblett steals the night, we're sitting here talking about Belal Muhammad, 170 champion. I can't believe it, man. In the amount that I've talked bad about him, I gotta say I'm sorry to the dude. As much as I hate you, as much as I don't think your fight style is good, as much as I might think you're the most boring fighter that's ever lived, I mean, you went out there and proved us wrong. You went out there and put on an absolute clinic. You schooled this man, Leon Edwards. Yeah, I know Leon might have won 2 rounds. It might have been 49-46, but you guys watched that fight. That was not a close fight. This man, Belal, put the work on this man, Leon. And I guess now it's time for Belal to go out there and do it. He finally making people remember the name. I don't know how well it's going to go. He's got a bunch of killers in front of him. If you're somebody like Usman or Colby, you're going to love this because you finally get another chance at the title. If you're, JDM, Ian Gary, Shavkat, all these guys coming up, hey, a nice little refreshing of the division. We're going to see some great matchups. I can't wait to find out, but I'm absolutely mind blown here, man. All the stuff that I've talked about this man, Belal Muhammad, he's UFC champion. It's just laugh in the face right now from the MMA guys. You guys got me. You guys got me pretty good, man. And in a weird night, it's such a weird night. First off, shouts out to all the UK fans. You guys putting on out there, showing up from the first fight of the night all the way through. 3 a.m. main card starts. 6:30, 6 o'clock, finally Leon Edwards is walking out and that fight happens. Pushing through it the entire night. I know they got a little restless towards the end, but it's 6 a.m. They're drinking beers. They, for the most part, they only have, 3 finishes all night. So I know it's pretty tough, 4 finishes, whatever it might have been. So I know it's probably a little tough to stay up. At first, even the weird stuff, we're all sitting there wondering, why is Muhammad Mokaev and Manel Kape not on the main card? These guys have only fought 16 times in fight week at the hotel, doing all these things, the way they've been talking about it, bad about each other. And then as soon as the bell rings, these guys, even before the bell rings, these guys get in the octagon, security's got to, pull them apart. And then as soon as that bell rings, these guys start playing patty cake, start making out a little bit. And then, with Molly McCann, I know Don't get me wrong. I know Meatball Molly's not the greatest. She's never going to be champion. She's never going to be top 15 again. I know she's on a losing streak. But, she is beloved in her hometown. And you never know with her. She throws, caution to the wind. And she could have had a crazy knockout. But she goes out there and kind of just flat the entire night. Gets her butt beat pretty bad. And we're sitting there. The UK fans starting to get restless. I mean, I was a huge fan of the Arnold Allen Gige Chikadze fight because I'm a kickboxer. I love that stuff. With the high level, the high pace, everything. I'm a personal fan. But, if you're there at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., you're sitting here at, 11 o'clock at night, finally the first fight's getting over. Yeah, I can see where you're a little bored with that. High-level Giga Chikadze, pushing back and, on his back foot the entire night, trying to throw nasty kicks at this man, Arnold Allen, who presses the pace the entire time, and he knows exactly what he's got to look for Giga's kicks. Like, I kind of knew that was going to be a grinded out decision, but shouts out to Arnold Allen getting the job done. RoboCop, absolute killer. I mean, it was a little tough for Christian Leroy Duncan. I think he's so athletic, and I just want him to start sitting down on some strikes. But, I mean, that man RoboCop that man must be fighting like fighting a brick wall, the way that he just walks through stuff and just keeps going at you and just never seems to tire. Like, he's going to be scary for a lot of people out there. But the one thing, man, I want to talk about, shouts out to this man, Paddy Pimblett, turning the absolute night around, putting the crowd on fire, doing the thing, literally jump-started the entire event for the last 3 fights. And this is the biggest thing. I just did a video talking about, all right, it's time, man. There's no more hiding around a 40-year-old Tony Ferguson who's died 16 straight times in the octagon. No more hiding behind a Jared Gordon who's 500. No more hiding behind a 40-year-old, Bobby Green. In all fairness, he doesn't fight like a 40-year-old, but you go out here. I thought this was pretty much handpicked for him to win, finally show off his grappling a little bit. I know he's been falling in love with his hands, but, I didn't expect it to go this way, man. As impressed as, if you're a big fan of this man, Paddy Pimblett, this man's got the talk, he's got the walk, he's got the walkout, he's got the post-fight interview. He's got the look, he's got the dirty scouser. He's got it all. He's got it all going. And the only thing that's been holding back a little bit are his performances. And now it's off to the races, man. I love the call out of Renato Moicano. If you're going to prove that you're here, you're going to prove you're a superstar. These are the type guys you got to beat. That Jalen Turner, Dan Hooker, BSD. You got all these guys coming up that I absolutely love this call out. But for him to go into these fights, this is the exact performance he needed. Didn't get touched once by that man, Bobby Green. He didn't let his talk, didn't let any of the trash talk or anything, get him into a brawl. He used his patience, used his distance. Everything was amazing. And then it worked out well for him because as soon as he gets his one opportunity where Bobby grabs his kick and tries to get the takedown, which just blew me away. Man, that transition from guillotine to triangle, that's one of the nastiest transitions you'll ever see in MMA. And, I mean, Bobby Green was out 10 seconds before that even happened. So, shouts out to this man, Paddy Pimblett, man. That's exactly what you want to see. This is exactly what we want to hear. Him calling out Renato Moicano. Sign me up, man. This is his chance. This is the most he's going to actually have people believe in, is him finishing guys like this. So, I can't wait to see that. But, the last thing I wanted to save last for the best. This man, Tom Aspinall, give him Jon Jones, man. Give him Jon Jones. I just did a video just pretty much slurping the dude up. Shouts out to Tom Aspinall. You could have sat there. The UFC gave you the keys, man. Said, hey, we're going to make you interim champion. We're not going to strip Jon Jones, so you best believe we're not going to strip you if you decide you're not going to fight. We all know the MMA community knows who is who and what we want to see. And this, as a Jon Jones guy, I can't believe how much I like Tom Aspinall. I can't believe I'm sitting here saying I don't want to see the Stipe fight. I know what that does for Jon Jones and stuff, but this Tom Aspinall fight might do more for you. If Jon Jones somehow beats Tom Aspinall, that's saying way more than beating a 50-year-old Stipe. I mean, this man, Tom, this is the other thing I love about this guy so much. He doesn't use his talking. He doesn't use his trash talk. He doesn't use any of the disrespect to get him where he is. This man just says, screw it. I'll fight whoever. Sergey Pavlovich on 2 weeks to save the day. I'm there. Oh, you want me to just not wait and just go out here and fight instead of, waiting for Jon Jones and Stipe, which is the biggest fight that anybody wants? Sure, I'll go fight Curtis Blades, who's one of the hardest matchups in the world. And not only will I go fight him, I'm going to go finish his ass in a minute, which we never see. I mean, my goodness, shouts out to this guy. He legitimately could have sat there as long as he wanted to wait for that fight for Jon Jones and Stipe. And there's not a damn way they're stripping him. There's not a damn way they're saying anything about it. And he puts everything on the line. And his star just blows up even more and more and more. And I'm all for it, man. Shouts out to Tom Aspinall. He's the man. I don't know. seriously, this is the other sad part, though. If you are the UFC, I think you kind of want to hold off a little bit, I guess, to fight the Jon Jones and Stipe. Because after that fight, if it is the Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall fight that we've all wanted, what is next? If Alex Pereira is going to keep doing his thing, and if he goes on and fights, Magomed Ankalaev, that could be a loss, man. That could be everything lost for the three division champ, the chance to get the Alex Pereira, Jon Jones, the Alex Pereira, Tom Aspinall fight. That's out the window. But like, for real, after the Tom Aspinall Jon Jones fight, if they can't do something miraculous to get Francis over there, or if somehow Stipe beats Jon Jones and it's Stipe Tom Aspinall, I still don't think it just rings that high. Like, who's next? He's already beat everybody. He's already destroyed Volkov, who just made Sergey Pavlovich look bad, and that's exactly who Tom Aspinall just made look bad. He just beat Curtis Blades, who's always up there for the argument. Like, there's nobody anymore. Like, what, we're going to fight a 50-year-old Derek Lewis who can't win? Tai Tuivasa who can't win? Like, you've already beat everybody else. Like, this is where it's going to get a little nerving, and I'm excited to see what the UFC is going to do with such a high star where you got Jon Jones and Stipe pretty much willing to retire at any moment. And then, Curtis Blades getting older. You got Sergey getting older, Volkov getting older, but all these guys have already fought him and lost. I'm excited to see what the UFC does, man. They got a lot on their plate, and they got a lot of options to go with, but I'm excited for it all, and the UK is in good hands. And it's kind of fitting to have Tom Aspinall win on a night that Leon kind of looks bad. And even Paddy, you got that new school coming in and kind of taking over the old school in a night that Michael Bisping's there. It was kind of fitting for real. But, I just can't get over it, man. Belal Muhammad's a champion. It's one of the wildest things I've ever seen. The only way they could have made this night worse for me as Belal Muhammad winning is if he would have beat somebody, one of my favorite fighters or something. And luckily for me at 170, I don't really have that many favorite fighters, so I just love the division and just respect it. So I'm kind of lucky there, but shouts out to that man Belal Muhammad, I guess. But as always, your boy Steven Moustaris, and let's go, baby.